Hello ladies and gentlemen, happy Wednesday and welcome to the Vale Tudo Dojo. I'm your host, Sensei Chuck Morris. The Vale Tudo Dojo is looking to bring you some of the latest news in MMA. Without further ado, let's get into it. UFC held their first ESPN card over this past weekend. In the main event, we had Francis Ngannou versus Cain Velasquez. Ngannou, if you haven't seen it, beware of spoilers here, but Francis Ngannou blasts through Cain Velasquez in 26 seconds. Velasquez claimed his knee blew out and that's why he went down and covered his head and took the beating. This was Cain's first fight since 2016 back at UFC 200, which is a 2.5 year layoff. Comes back and fights the, I think, number 2 ranked guy in Francis Ngannou. Not a good day at the office. But I don't think it was his knee. I think he just got caught. It was a very short punch though. I don't know. I'm going to go back and rewatch it after this. Try and figure it out. But what's next for the guys? For Cain, possibly retirement. He's a former 2-time world champion. He beat a who's who's list. His best friend is the current heavyweight champion, so I don't think he wants the title shot right now, although Daniel Cormier has talked about retiring very soon. I think a fight for Cain, to give Cain, is a fight with Stipe Miocic, number 1 ranked contender. Both guys coming off big losses. It could be a very interesting fight. Another fight I thought I wouldn't mind seeing for Cain, because he's unranked, maybe give him the number 10 ranked guy, Tai Tuivasa. This could be a fun fight. I think it should be an easier night for Cain against Bam Bam, but, well, I thought he was going to beat Francis, so what do I know? Ngannou, you could do a rematch with Stipe Miocic. See if he's learned, see if he's grown from the one-sided beating he took the last time they met. I think another good fight is maybe against Volkov. Just another big guy, another dangerous guy. Although he's coming off a loss to Derek Lewis, I did think maybe Francis versus Lewis again, but I know the first one was. It's a good one to watch if you're looking to go to sleep. But yeah, maybe Alexander Volkov, more fun fight, a little more entertaining. But why not the title shot? He's ranked number 2. Cormier is already not fighting Stipe Miocic. He's made that very clear. Why not DC avenge his friend Cain Velasquez by fighting Francis Ngannou, which is what Ngannou said to DC at the press conference afterwards. He said, "Come and avenge your friend." DC, in the only comment he made was that he was very disappointed in Cain. Not disappointed in Cain, but it was a very disappointing thing. Hurt him inside, because if you haven't seen the picture of the way that DC looks at Velasquez, look that up. But DC did say, "I won't go fight Ngannou. I would beat Ngannou. Not just fight him, just beat him." Easy to sell. I want to watch it. A lot of people probably want to watch it. Why not? In the co-main event, Paul Felder earned a decision victory over the number 9 ranked lightweight James Vick. In the closing moments of the fight, Paul Felder's lung collapsed in the last few minutes of the fight, possibly punctured by a kick at the end of the third round. When Ariel Helwani broke this story on Instagram, Paul Felder tweeted out, "I got 2 lungs. I just want a beer for shit's sake." It's a direct quote I've got. Paul Felder fights with broken arms, 1 lung, while, losing 3 pints of blood. This guy's awesome, right? Real Vale Tudo spirit. I want to see him fight some big names, He called out, and I'd like to see it, the winner of Barbosa Gaethje. Said he wants that rematch with Barbosa, but he really wants that war with Gaethje, which it sounds exciting as hell. I'd watch it. It's a fun fight. Next for Vic, maybe give him the number 11th ranked, also coming off a loss, Alex Hernandez. I just think, it's a competitive fight. I think that's what we'll see next. Also on the UFC ESPN card, Cynthia Calvillo, the number 12 ranked, strawweight, won a decision over Courtney Casey. For Calvillo, next, maybe fight Michelle Waterson. I don't know if she's got a fight coming up, but that could be, she just won. Give her a step up. Maybe Tisha Torres or Claudia Gladhalia. I don't know if anyone's busy or got a fight lined up, but that's how I see it going along. Courtney Casey, maybe give her a fight against the number 13 or 14th ranked, or maybe the number 10 ranked Felice Herrig, who's also coming off a loss. Making his UFC debut on the card was Kron Gracie. No. He submitted Bruce Leroy in the first round. It was Gracie's debut, and Leroy, he's been going through ups and downs his whole UFC run. What's next for them both? I think give Kron the number 13 or 14th or 15th ranked guy. If you really want to give him a step up, which is tough because he's only had 4 fights. He's won them all by submission though. Maybe give him Yair Rodriguez, coming off a big win over the Korean Zombie. He's ranked 12, or maybe Ricardo Lamas. Could be a fun one. He's ranked 11th though. It'd be a real step up in competition. So maybe give Kron maybe a couple other, I don't want to say easy fights, but fellow prospects. As for Bruce Leroy, maybe fight another guy coming into the UFC. Maybe that could be his new role with all the ups and downs. Maybe he should look over at Bellator or One Championships. But everyone's favourite double champ, Conor McGregor, said to on social media to Kron, "Enter the mix, young son. Congratulations." I don't know why, but that made headlines, so I thought I'd include it. Who cares? Vincent Leque got a TKO over Brian Barberena. I don't know a lot about these guys. They were both unranked going in. Maybe give Luke a fight with Neil Magny. Could be fun. But I don't know a lot about these guys, or if they're up to fighting ranked opponents yet. And to kick off the main card of the UFC on ESPN card, Andre Fili won a decision over Miles Jury. I don't know what you could do next for Miles Jury. He's been around a while, tough as hell. I thought he'd win this fight. I wanted Touchy Philly to win, but I thought Jury would be too much. Kind of glad I was wrong on that one. I think for Touchy Philly, give him Kron Gracie. Why not? Could be fun. Also on the weekend, on I think Saturday night in America, Matt Mitrione fought Sergey Karatanov in Bellator to a no contest because Matt Mitrione landed a groin kick on Karatanov in about 15 seconds. He went for an inside low kick, and as it often happens, landed right on the cup of Sergey. Sergey took the 5 minutes but wasn't able to continue, so it was ruled a no contest. The referee said it was an accident, don't need to give you a loss or anything, just a no contest. And I didn't know how bad it was. Obviously there's no good groin shots, except for the ones Joe Son ate, the 7 or so that Keith Hackney landed. But I did read that Sergey Karatanov suffered a hemorrhoid from the force of the kick. So it's probably one of the worst I've ever heard of. I don't know what you could do next for these guys. Give them a rematch. If I'm Karatanov, I don't want to have a rematch against Mitrione. If I'm in the division, I don't want to fight Mitrione. His ball kicks give you piles. I don't need that. The next night, Bellator 216, they had back-to-back, did Scott Coker's organisation. And in the main event, Michael Venom Page won a unanimous decision over Paul Daly. It was not the most exciting fight. It was very strategic, very a little bit disappointing in that I thought that they were going to just try and kill each other on the feet. Daly swinging heavy left hooks, MVP dancing around it, and it'd be a quicker night for everybody involved. But Daly just looked to wrestle with him. He gave up the first round because he didn't do anything for 5 minutes. Second round he took MVP down. I scored the fight, I think it was 48-47 for MVP. I gave round 2 and 3 to Daly, but 1, 4 and 5 to MVP. Paul Daly said on Instagram of the fight, quote, "I'm disappointed, MMA politics and Bellator protecting their investment. I feel I won 3 rounds to 2, in my opinion. I beat that fool. Really. Close fight. It's just sad MMA is going the way of boxing. I'm a striker who wrestled, so I lose, and the fool they pumped money into wins." And then he put one of these faces. End quote. But I don't think he did enough to win round 4. He secured a takedown, but the whole time that he was in, I think, half guard or guard, MVP outstruck him. On the feet, he outstruck him. Daly didn't want none of that smoke standing up. And on the ground, he got reversed in the 5th round by MVP. So MVP was on top of him, beating him up for the majority of the 5th round. In the 4th, when it was on the ground, MVP beat him up. The round 2 and 3, it was definitely Daly. Round 1, I think that MVP won that round because he landed 2 jabs and a kick, and Daly didn't even throw a punch. Not the most exciting fight, but Very strategic. I didn't hate it. I wouldn't recommend it. But next for MVP, this was part of the Bellator Welterweight Grand Prix that includes other names like John Fitch, Rory Mack, and MVP's next opponent, Douglas Lima, former two-time Bellator champ, and they'll be fighting on May 11th. As for what's next for Daly, talking shit about Bellator and the bosses and the brass, never a good idea. But I don't know if they're still doing it, but Bellator was putting on kickboxing shows as well. Maybe a kickboxing or maybe even Muay Thai fight against John Wayne Parr. They're roughly around the same weight, and I'd love to see it. I think the gunslinger John Wayne Parr, 10-time world Muay Thai champion, I think he could do it. Also on the card, in the co-main event, Mirko Cro Cop won a decision over Roy Nelson. Now, I don't know what you could do next with these guys, but Cro Cop looked a little bit juicy going into that one, you know. Mexican supplements. It's genetically different, you know. Cheat Congo won a decision over Vitaly Minkinov, who's the former Bellator heavyweight champion, who he gave up his belt and left for, I think, 2 years before coming back and losing a decision to Congo, which was a rematch. In the first fight, Minkinov won the decision. Congo is now saying that he's the actual world champ because he beat the guy that never lost the title. So he's offered Ryan Bader to just come and give Congo the belt. So it can be peaceful, it can be easy. And if Ryan Bader doesn't do that, Ryan Bader being the heavyweight Grand Prix and Bellator champion, if Bader does not hand over the heavyweight title belt to Cheat Congo promises to fuck him up. So that's a fun fight, isn't it? I know. Congo Bader, I'd watch it. If not, maybe give Congo Fedor, who just lost to Bader, or Congo versus Cro Cop, who's also coming off a win, and then give the winner of that a title shot. Not that Cro Cop's in his prime or anything anymore, he's, you know, in the old guy division, but brand recognition. As for Minkinov, former champion, let him fight Nelson, or maybe even Mitrione and Sergey Karatanov. Just, it'd be a good step up for them. If they can beat him, they can make an argument, like Congo is, to get a title shot. For Sergey and Mitrione, as for Nelson, they're both coming off a loss. Why not? Also, Yaroslav, he won a decision over Eric Silva. Have Yaroslav fight Daly. They're both welterweights. They're both there. They're both coming off a loss. And Valerie Loreda got a TKO over Colby Fisher. It was Valerie's Bellator debut, and she trains from American Top Team, one of the best teams there, with UFC champion, Amanda Nunes. She's a Taekwondo specialist, and, you know, probably expect to see more big things coming out of Valerie in Bellator, but I thought the fight looked a little bit sus. I thought what happens is Valerie lands a 1-2 on Colby's chin, and then as Colby's stepping back, Valerie throws a left body kick that lands right here on the elbow, which sends Colby down before eating 100 hammer fists, and they stopped the fight. And I thought it didn't look like the kick was enough to put her down. maybe knock her off balance, but not finish the fight. And also over the weekend in Invicta Fighting Championships, the all-women promotion, Vanessa Porto won the vacant Invicta flyweight title by way of decision over Pearl Gonzalez after the fight was cut short after Porto lost a chunk of her eyelid. If you want to see it, go to our Instagram page, Sensei Chuck Morris, and it will be there, or the Flaming Coq Productions Facebook page. It'll be on there. Pretty gruesome looking. I don't know any more details than that, but go have a look. Bit of fun, right? And the last bit of news that I have here is Artem Lobov, who recently requested his release from the UFC, which was granted, has signed with the Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. Artem went 6-5 in the UFC, and I think 13-15 in MMA total. He did tease going to boxing, kickboxing, or bare knuckle possibly since his release. BKFC just put on their 4th show at the start of the month. They had Beck Rollins defended her title but lost a tooth. They had heavyweight clash, Sam Shoemaker, who has the fastest knockout in the sport. He won as well, and another great couple of fights were Tony Lopez and Joey Beltran fighting for, I think, the 20th time against each other. They fought to a draw this time, and Leonard Garcia won a decision over Julian Lane, who's a former world champion in bare knuckle boxing over in England. They wear hand wraps, but they still call it bare knuckled. But yeah, and he's also more famous is Lane for crying on The Ultimate Fighter while screaming, "Let me bang, bro. You've got to let me bang." That means something to their people, Americans. That's all for things that have happened. Upcoming this weekend, we have UFC Fight Night 145. Light heavyweight Jan Blachowicz, probably not saying that right, is fighting Thiago Santos, which I was looking at the rankings the other day, and I thought those two were being put together, and turns out they are. I really hope Santos wins this. I want to see big things from this guy. Like the tattoo on his chest, this guy's a hammer, and fun to watch, and a killer. I don't know how he ever made middleweight. He's huge. Unfortunately, where he's sitting in the rankings, there's a lot of guys around him, Corey Anderson and so on. I want to see both these guys get up and get title shots. I don't want them to fight each other. I don't know who to go for. In heavyweight, Stefan Struve will be fighting Marcos Rogerio de Lima. Light heavyweights, Gian Vellante will be fighting Michael, and I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce his last name. I was practicing it all afternoon and I ain't doing it. Women flyweights, Liz Carmouche versus Lucy Pudilova. Bantamweights, John Dodson versus Peter Yan. And light heavyweights, Magomed Ankalaev versus Klidson Abreu. That's just the main card. On the same night, Bellator 217 from Dublin, Ireland. Bantamweights, James Gallagher, who is 7-1 in MMA and trains out of the SBG gym, same as Conor McGregor. That's probably how he got into a main event, just saying. We'll be taking on Stephen Graham, who's 5-3 and trains out of American Top Team. Lightweight, Peter Quelly versus Miles Pierce. Featherweight, Richie Smullen versus Adam Gustab. And middleweight, Charlie Ward will be taking on Jamie Stevenson. I looked at this card and I had to go to Sherdog to find out about James Gallagher and Stephen Graham. All these guys, except for Charlie Ward, are all non-linkers. If you're not sure what a non-linker is, it's someone who does not have a Wikipedia page. Just like this show. But Charlie Ward, he has a Wikipedia page, mostly because of Conor McGregor jumping in the cage after one of his fights, during one of his fights. And this card also has a 13 fight undercard, which is heaps. It's a crazy amount of fights that will be on the Bellator website or their app or whatever. But it's crazy to think that these guys in the main card, despite, you know, whatever their records, and that all these guys are on pay-per-view in America. And if you're looking to bet on it, James Gallagher 7-1 from SBG is going to beat Stephen Graham 5-3. That's my prediction for that one. And last but not least, I was asked a question via Quora. You can find me on there. I'll put a link. Elijah Daly asks, how would you do in a street fight versus Buzz Rutten in his prime? And the reason I picked this question is because it's going to be easy to answer. Not well. Buzz Rutten in his prime was a world champion in Pancrase in the UFC. I don't think I'd do very well. But that got me to thinking. Maybe I could do well if I study him. So I'm going to look at his street fighting techniques, the videos on YouTube, break it down and show you how to beat it. So look out for that video coming up. That's all I've got for this week. Thank you for tuning in to the first Vale Tudo Dojo show here on YouTube. Join me again next Wednesday. You know, set aside some time, dim the lights, light a candle. Nice red wine. I think this show goes with, you know, something rich and full-bodied, and Bloody Your Enemy, the Bloody Your Enemy, rich and full-bodied. That's what you drink while watching the Vale Tudo Dojo. And join us once a month. I'm going to have a guest, and I'll be doing a deep dive into an MMA or combat sport topic. The first one coming up is going to be the rivalry. A look at the rivalry between Hoist Gracie and Ken Shamrock. Anyway, until next weekend, be good and bore.